Number 10, puffy face, bird legs. On Earth, gravity is basically your body's personal assistant, constantly nagging all your fluids to stay down. Your blood, your lymph, all that weird internal goo. Gravity pulls it towards your feet. This is why your ankles get a little swollen after a long flight, or why you feel that head rush when you hang upside down and your face turns into a terrified tomato. The moment you hit microgravity, that assistant quits. Instantly. All at once, about 2 liters of fluid. That's like an entire party-sized bottle of soda that normally hangs out in your lower body just says, "Welp, I'm bored," and migrates straight up into your chest and head. The result is not glamorous. Astronauts immediately get what they call Puffy-Head, bird legs syndrome. Your face inflates like you just lost a fight with an entire beehive. Your sinuses clog up instantly, making you sound like you have the worst cold of your life, 24/7. Meanwhile, your legs shrink into these sad, skinny little chicken legs because they've been completely drained. You look like a cartoon character who skipped leg day to inflate their own skull. Your body, in its infinite wisdom, freaks out. It senses all this extra fluid in its torso and thinks, "Oh no, I'm drowning." So, as a totally logical countermeasure, it triggers your kidneys to flush as much water as possible. You basically pee out your own blood volume for 2 days straight until your body recalibrates to a new, chronically dehydrated, space normal. It's a brutal, puffy, congested, and surprisingly thirsty way to start your grand celestial adventure. Number 9, the bone vacuum. Your bones feel solid, right? Like inert scaffolding. They are not. Your bones are in a constant, needy, passive-aggressive relationship with gravity. They are constantly rebuilding and tearing themselves down, and the only thing that convinces them to rebuild is the stress of you just existing. Walking. Standing up. Lifting a grocery bag. Every tiny impact tells your bone cells, "Hey, we're needed!" Stay strong. Take away gravity, and your bones lose their will to live. In space, your skeleton decides it's officially retired. Why maintain a dense, heavy skeleton when you're just floating? That's wasted energy. So your body starts aggressively leaching calcium and minerals from your bones, dissolving your own skeleton from the inside out and just dumping the excess minerals into your bloodstream. This isn't slow. Astronauts lose bone mass at a rate of 1% to 2% per month. For comparison, an elderly person with severe osteoporosis might lose 1% per year. You are literally speed-running old age. All that extra calcium floating around in your blood has to go somewhere, and somewhere often means your kidneys, dramatically increasing the risk of agonizing kidney stones. Because what's better than being trapped in a metal can floating in a void? Being trapped in a metal can floating in a void while trying to pee out a tiny razor-sharp rock. Number 8, eyeball squishing. This is maybe the creepiest one. For a long time, astronauts would come back from long-duration missions and just casually mention, "Yeah, my vision is worse." NASA finally looked into it and found something genuinely alarming. They call it spaceflight-associated neuroocular syndrome, or SANS, which is a very sterile name for your skull actively trying to crush your eyeballs from behind. Remember all that fluid that rushed to your head? It doesn't just make you look puffy. It increases the pressure inside your skull. Your brain is fine. It's floating around in its own cerebrospinal fluid, which equalizes the pressure. But your eyeballs? They're connected to your brain by the optic nerve, and they're stuck on the outside of that pressurized system. So for months on end, the increased pressure of your own spinal fluid pushes on the back of your eyeballs. It's like a slow, relentless thumb pressing against your retina. This pressure flattens the back of your eyeballs, literally changing their shape. It makes your retinas swell and fold, creating choroidal folds. It makes the optic nerve swell up like a kinked garden hose. The result is that you get farsighted. You can't read the buttons on the console right in front of you. And for some astronauts, this damage just doesn't go away. They come back to Earth with permanently altered vision, all because space tried to pop their eyes out from the inside. Number 7, the 90-minute nightmare. Your body clock, your circadian rhythm, is a finely tuned billion-year-old piece of software that runs everything when you feel sleepy, when you feel hungry, when your hormones should spike, when your body should repair itself. And it sinks itself using one major clue: the sun. Is it bright? Be awake. Is it dark? Time to power down. Welcome to the International Space Station, where you orbit the Earth every 90 minutes. You experience a sunrise or a sunset every 45 minutes. For your ancient, lizard brain biology, this is not just confusing, it's psychological torture. Your body has no idea when it is. Is it morning? Is it 3 a.m.? Should I be digesting? Should I be sleeping? The answer is just yes. All the time. The station itself doesn't help. It's filled with the constant 24/7 hum of air recyclers and machinery. It's about as quiet as a factory floor. There's no up or down, so you can't even lie down to sleep. You have to zip yourself into a sleeping bag that's bolted to a wall, like a vampire in a very nerdy coffin, and just float there. The result is a profound, deep space insomnia. Astronauts report bizarre, vivid, feverish dreams. They sleep in scattered, broken chunks. Mission Control has to artificially create a day by blasting the station with bright blue spectrum lights to force everyone's brain into awake mode, and then shift the lights to a dim, warm red at night to try and trick their bodies into producing melatonin. They're living inside a giant, high-tech mood lamp, all just to beg their brains to do the one thing they've been doing perfectly since we were single-celled organisms: go to sleep. Number 6. Rebooting old viruses. Your immune system is basically an over-caffeinated paranoid security guard. On Earth, it's constantly busy, fighting off pollen, sniffing out bacteria on a doorknob, and keeping all your old dormant viruses locked up in body jail. You know that chickenpox you had when you were 7? The virus, varicella zoster, is still in you. It's just sitting silently in your nerve cells, held in check by your immune system. The second you get into space, that security guard decides to take a vacation. For reasons scientists still don't fully understand, microgravity just decimates your T cells, the special forces of your immune system. They become lazy, confused, and slow to react. Your body's stress levels spike from the radiation and the weird environment, flooding you with cortisol, which is basically an off switch for your immune response. With the guards gone, the prisoners start to riot. Those old dormant viruses, they wake up. And over half of all astronauts on long-duration flights, viruses like Epstein-Barr, which causes mono, and varicella zoster, which causes shingles, reactivate in their bodies. They start shedding the live virus in their saliva and urine. While they might not get full-blown painful shingles in orbit, though some do, their bodies are suddenly teeming with resurrected diseases. This is a terrifying problem for long-range missions. Imagine landing on Mars, finally taking your helmet off in the new habitat, and immediately giving your entire crew a fresh case of chickenpox because space decided to reboot your childhood illnesses. Number 5. The unescapable stench. This is one of those hidden details they never put in the glorious space movies. The International Space Station stinks. It has a smell, a very specific, very permanent and inescapable smell. Think about it. You're in a sealed can. You can't open a window. The air you are breathing today is the same air you were breathing last week, and the same air your crewmate was breathing after they used the space toilet. It's all just been scrubbed, filtered, and blasted with UV rays. But filters can't get everything. Astronauts describe the smell as a combination of things. It's the sharp, metallic ozone tang of fried electronics, because tiny bits of space dust are always zapping the outside of the station. It's the smell of burnt steak or welding fumes that clings to their suits after a spacewalk. It's the faint locker room tang of 6 people's recycled sweat. It's the acrid whiff of the chemicals used to clean waste. And it's the inescapable, permeating odor of body. On Earth, smells dissipate. You leave the room. In space, your own personal smell cloud just follows you. It hangs around your head. You can't escape your crewmates' smells, and they can't escape yours. That new car smell of the station is long gone, replaced by a permanent baked-in aroma of burnt metal, old gym socks, and chemical toilets. and for 6 months you can't smell anything else? It's the smell of inside, and there is no outside to clear your head. Number 4. The brain-ear disconnect. You know that stomach drop feeling when a roller coaster plummets? Or that brief whoa when an elevator starts moving too fast? That feeling is courtesy of your vestibular system, specifically a set of tiny, gravity-sensing crystals in your inner ear called otoliths. They are your biological which way is down sensors. They are exquisitely evolved to work with gravity. The problem is, in space, down doesn't exist. The moment you're weightless, your inner ear crystals just start to float aimlessly. They are screaming in pure, unadulterated panic. We are falling. We are falling sideways. We are upside down and also tumbling. But your eyes are looking at the inside of the shuttle. They're telling your brain, nope, everything's fine. Bill is right there. The control panel is where it should be. We're chill. Your brain is suddenly getting two completely contradictory reports from its most trusted sources. The eyes say, we're stationary. The ears say, we are in a blender. The brain, faced with this catastrophic paradox, defaults to the only explanation it has for this specific brand of sensory mismatch. Oh God, I've been poisoned. This must be a neurotoxin. Evacuate the stomach. This is space adaptation. Sickness. For the first 2 or 3 days of their glorious mission, more than half of all astronauts are just miserably, violently ill. They are heroes, adventurers, and the best of humanity. And they are spending their first 48 hours in the void desperately trying to aim their vomit into a motion sickness bag. Number 3. Your muscles. Just quit. Right now, just by sitting upright and listening to this, you are in an active, full-body fight with a fundamental force of the universe. Your entire life is a workout. Your back muscles, your abs, your glutes, your neck, they are all constantly firing, 24/7, just to stop gravity from pulling you into a sad, boneless puddle on the floor. The second you enter microgravity, that war is over. Your muscles, particularly the big postural ones, essentially throw a retirement party. They're like, our work is done, boys. We won. Your body is a ruthless efficiency expert. It sees these suddenly unemployed muscles as giant, useless, calorie-hungry freeloaders, so it immediately begins to dismantle them. The muscle fibers atrophy at a terrifying rate. We're talking a potential 20% loss of muscle mass in as little as 5 to 11 days. This is why you see those videos of astronauts strapped to treadmills with a harness of giant, painful-looking bungee cords. They have to exercise for 2.5 hours every single day, not to get buff, but just to beg their bodies not to melt. They are running a marathon just to break even, desperately trying to trick their muscles into thinking they still have a job. When they land back on Earth, they are so weak they often can't even hold up their own heads. Gravity, their old foe, returns, and it feels like a physical, crushing assault. Number 2. The cosmic bullet problem. Here on Earth, we live in a cozy radiation bunker. We're protected by a giant planetary magnetic field and a nice, thick, 60-mile-deep atmosphere. They act like a force field, deflecting the constant stream of high-energy particles the universe is always shooting at us. In space, the bunker is gone. You are exposed. You're not just dealing with solar flares. The real terror is something called galactic cosmic rays, or GCRS. These aren't little waves of energy like an X-ray. These are the nuclei of dead stars. Heavy particles like iron atoms, stripped of all their electrons and accelerated by distant supernovas to nearly the speed of light. These are microscopic relativistic cannonballs. They are so energetic that no practical shielding can stop them. They will punch straight through the aluminum hull of the space station, straight through your body, and straight out the other side. And as they do, they shatter your DNA. They rip through your cell structures like a bullet through wet paper. Worse, when they hit the metal hull, they create a secondary radiation spray, where the single bullet hits an aluminum atom and explodes into a shotgun blast of smaller high-energy particles inside the station. Astronauts on the ISS receive a radiation dose about 10 times higher than you'd get on the ground. A trip to Mars would be hundreds of times more. Scientists are genuinely concerned that on a long-duration trip, this constant microscopic bombardment will literally fry an astronaut's brain cells, leading to space dementia, memory loss, and a dramatically higher risk of cancer. You're basically floating in a slow cooker of invisible, star-fired bullets. Number 1. Your body eats its own blood. This one is wild because for decades, scientists didn't even know it was happening. You've got your bone loss, your muscle atrophy, your puffy face, but your blood, the very essence of your life support, that should be fine, right? Wrong. On Earth, your body is a perfectly balanced factory. It produces and destroys about 2 million red blood cells every single second. It's a perfect one-in, one-out system. The second you hit microgravity, your body's internal accounting department goes completely insane. It's related to that giant fluid shift, where your body thinks it's suddenly drowning in its own fluids. It doesn't just pee out the extra water. It looks at its own blood supply and thinks, way too much. We're over budget. Start the purge. Your body doesn't just slow down making new red blood cells. That would be too gentle. Instead, it triggers a process called hemolysis. It gives your spleen and liver a new enthusiastic directive to hunt down and destroy your own healthy, perfectly good, oxygen-carrying red blood cells. Scientists used to think this was a short-term adaptation, that your body just shed a few cells and then found a new space normal. But a recent study found that's not true. The destruction never stops. For the entire duration of your mission, your body is destroying 54% more red blood cells than it would on Earth every single day. You are in a state of self-induced chronic anemia for your entire trip. Then you come home, you land, and suddenly gravity is back, and it wants all that blood back in your legs. But the blood isn't there. Your total red blood cell count is in the toilet. Your muscles are screaming for oxygen to fight this new crushing force, but you don't have enough blood cells to deliver it. This is a huge part of why astronauts can't just hop out and walk. They are puffy-headed, eyeballs squished, muscle wasted, bone empty, radiation zapped, sleepless, anemic zombies. Welcome back to Earth. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.